Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And I'm sorry I'm late once again. We have medical emergencies, so when that happens, I can't be on, and I come late night. It's SSN Nation Money Making Monday Late Night Edition, an hour later. But thank you so much for being here. And by the way, we hit 15,700 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody for that as well. Tonight, gatekeepers everywhere. But that does not matter because you know what we talk about. No barriers to entry when you are an entrepreneur, when you are thinking of innovations, when you are doing something nobody else is doing. The gatekeepers can't do anything about it, but they're everywhere, watching, paying attention, and therefore you guys are going to be in for a special treat, but not tonight, in about 2 weeks. So stay tuned. Wealth building commences shortly. Tonight, let's go and welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear says it all. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you know that helps other people. They may not be looking for this information and it's suppressed. So don't worry about it. Make sure you let other people know where to go. Findhelp.org. 7 out of 10 people don't have $1,000 in their bank account. 6 out of 10 people don't have $500 in their bank account. Just think about that. Grocery bills, all of this is adding up. It's not abating at all. It's going to continue to rise. 3.8% inflation year over year for last May to this May. And you know that's a lie. So if they're saying 3.8, think 13.8. That would be more like it because I know you're feeling 13.8. You damn sure are not feeling it only went up 3 or 4%. Let's get real. All right? Stop playing out here with yourselves and get your mind right because we got to do this wealth building faster than usual. So today, I'm sitting there eating in a location undisclosed to you guys, and I'm telling the young cat who's there, he's 18, he's 19. I say, hey, man, don't be foolish out here. Don't run about like all these people are telling you to go buy a home. Your first and only move you should be thinking about education, and the education starts now. FHA loans, if you can get that with 4% down, not only the FHA, you want a duplex minimum. But if you can get a fourplex, that is your first move, either a two apartment building or a duplex, 3 apartment building or triplex, 4 apartment building or quadplex. Either way you slice it, start there when you're 20 years old, 21 years old, instead of buying a house. You know why? Because I have renters who's going to be paying me rent for the rest of their life on the other side of this building because I'm going to live in one side and they're going to be paying rent on that side. My mortgage note's probably going to be less than all to combine what they're going to be paying at these nosebleed sections. So therefore, You have passive income coming in for life and your property goes up, so therefore you can always borrow against it if you need to. And nobody can take it away from you, and it doesn't matter if you went to school or not. No gatekeepers tonight on my watch, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome once again. Please smash the like button. I've said that twice now. The YouTube guys need to know who's in the house. All right, let's go. Daryl Hunter says, boo, you're a gatekeeper too. I am not, but I would love to engage with you. Tell me how I'm a gatekeeper. I'm not blocking anybody from being successful, my man. I don't stop paying people. Just saying, don't happen. I don't act like this governmental agency going down right now, making sure that I got to fire people who earn their position and hire DEI people. Sorry, I'm not over here making sure that I keep what the music guys do. Make sure that when an artist makes money, they got to keep it for recoupment situations and then keep their masters and publishing. That is gatekeeping. And by the way, I'm all ears, Daryl Hunter, and welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And by the way, I want to hear it. Thank you so much for being in the house. This is conversational here. Our chat room is always open for everybody to have their opinions. I have no problem with the man saying it, but he's going to have to bring a little bit more than I am one, because I want to know what one is to you. Here's what one is to me. When you're kicking somebody's ass, they got to go down to the senators of the state. They got to go to the senators of the federal government, House of Representatives, and they got to change the laws so you don't kick their ass. Those are gatekeepers. Do you understand? Hopefully. Just saying. Now, when they make sure that you got to go to school, you say, I got to go to school. How do you stop a person from going to school? You say, I don't like the Department of Education. In 1980, I don't like the Department of Education. I'm the President of the United States. So I'm not going to make it cheap to go to college so you can learn and make more money over the course of your lifetime because you went to college. I'm going to change the rules because we can't have a lot of certain people making a lot of money. So what am I going to do? Change the rules, make it harder, make sure they have debt. So we're going to charge up the cost of college. It's no longer $300-400 a semester, a quarter. No. We're going to make it $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year. Gatekeeping, my man. Let's go. Everybody get it straight. Recognize. Welcome, Brian P. Mr. Dividend is in the house to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday Late Night Edition. I know he's Mr. Dividend, but now I have to say the Grim Reaper has also arrived because he's going to tell me, check the emails. When I check the emails, do you know what country you live in, gentlemen and men and women? Because once you see all the recalls, once you see all the thievery in a regulated environment, it starts to make you sick. The gatekeepers make sure you're unhealthy. And then when you go to the hospital, the insurance companies go, oh, we might not cover that, even though you're getting paid every month, insurance company, but we're not going to cover that procedure. We're not going to make sure that this person can get better. We're going to block them. So they're going to be in a bad situation health-wise because our claim department says, I'm sorry, we're not going to pay that out. That is gatekeeping, to make sure that people are still going to be sick, even though you have insurance, or better yet, not even covered at all, but damn, they took your money, didn't they? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to it. Brian P., Mr. Dividend in the house, and he says, happy day, Eric. Thank you, man. We trying. I hope all is well with you and your family. It's going, man. We've been on this journey. The journey, unfortunately, is coming to close of an end, and in a bad way. There's nothing we can do when a body does not respond. And of course, a body being involved in a hospital environment, because they are not actually trying to make you better, even though they can, but they generally fill you up with whatever they think you need. And actually, it's not think, they know you need. But the problem is, they don't tell you the black boxes. The black box is when you're going to have reactions, and only 2% of the people do, or only 5% of the people do, or only 10% of the people do. Well, guess what? You could be one of those 10%, 5%, or 2%ers. Oftentimes, people find themselves in that small place where there's reactions. The black box: dizziness, vomiting, headaches, dizziness, vomiting, headaches, nausea, tremors. Oh, yeah, no problem. Oh, hold on. What's that? Mental problems. Causes mental problems. All of a sudden, this ain't no ordinary thing they're putting in your body. So, some people react, some people don't. But a lot of people do. Gatekeepers, ladies and gentlemen. Brian P. It's all bad news. Smash that like button again. Give it a one piece out here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here in the house, because we're there. Oh, speaking of gatekeepers, I got more coming. EV Place, he's a man that says, I got no gatekeepers, because you know what he did? Brian P., you know what he did? He's Mr. Dividend. He invested where the gatekeepers invest, in the stock market. He said, give me some of that dividend. Let me eat out here. That's what it's saying. Give me some of that dividend money that you guys are getting. He investing in dividends. He's getting checks. EV Place, he's investing in more than dividends. He's sitting there going, I'm taking the dividends. I'm taking some real estate. Wasn't it Castle Rock REO? Castle Rock REO, I believe that's it, right? Where you too can buy homes for 40, 50, 30 grand. They're fixer-uppers. But you can get in, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, if you have the money, if you have the wherewithal, you can get in on some of these deals. Of course, you have to fix it up. But hey, 30, 40 grand sometimes, you got to go look. You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to make money? This is what you do. Hold on. Let me review something real quick. Because last week, we got a channel that just stopped the live stream. I know who I was talking about. We were talking about the President of the United States, and somebody shut down the live stream, Instagram. Guess you guys didn't like that too much. That's a damn shame, because 3.8% year over year. In the previous year, it was 3.6 last month? 3.1 last month, was it? Or 3.4, can't remember. Now it's even higher. So don't sit around out here when we're talking about facts. We're going to find out if we're going to get messed up again this year. All right. I went off to the rails and talked about EV Place. I was going somewhere else. And by the way, the reason why I keep looking around is because I did some things, and I have all kind of things up that I shouldn't, because I've been working, doing some things in the lab. And unfortunately, doing those things in the lab, I have all kind of itemed up. And here I just found it. So now I got to find my live stream. But EV Place, thank you so much for being in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And again, I think it was Castle Rock REO. Please remind us in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. We try to help you here. Just remember, you can have a 580 credit score for FHA that I started talking about, and buy multifamily property up to a fourplex. Only put down 4%. It's 3 point something, but I always say 4% because there's closing costs or something. 4%, okay? And start off that way instead of buying a house. Again, you can go through your whole life now having passive income. Congratulations, all right? Then you can worry about the job. Then you can worry about the house. The house is a liability. So you better have some assets. That's why you need to invest in the stock market. Let's get it straight. EV Place does that too. And he has the icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. Thank you so much for being in the house. And he says, good evening, SSN. Every Wednesday is almost like Money Making Monday. And I said Money Making Monday to begin with when it was Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. I started off all wrong, but it does not matter. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's all money making here, building wealth. That's what we talk about. But thank you so much for bringing that up, because I did say Money Making Monday late night live stream when it's Wealthy Wednesday night late night live stream. Thank you for, I had a glitch because I've been under duress for the last 2 days. Actually, my aunt's been in a serious situation, and she could be passing away imminently, but we've done whatever we could have done, but her body is now failing her. Just so people understand, your when you swallow, your brain sends a signal to your throat to open up when you have food in your mouth. Her brain is not sending a signal to open up so food goes down her esophagus in her stomach. In other words, it's closed and it won't open. Even if she chews and everything, which she has done, and she swallows ice chips, you can't swallow food. So she's on a feeding tube and things like that. But the thing is, her mouth, her body is failing. She isn't older, but her body's failing. And so when she swallows, you know where it goes, ladies and gentlemen? History night on health. Health is wealth. If you can't swallow, where does food go? It goes to your lungs. There's another entry point in your body. So when you swallow something, it goes into your lungs. You know what happens when food goes into your lungs? If you don't know this, that's why it happens to older people that generally, because you don't know. You're just eating. You're feeding, let's say you're feeding them, or they're just eating. They will know as long as they're verbal, because they'll be like, something will happen. But if a person, their verbal is low and they may say something, may not say something, and they eat, they don't say anything because they swallow. It swallows, but it goes in your lungs. And the only thing that can go in your lungs and dissipate is water. So if you chew food and goes in your lungs, aspiration, which now means you have stuff in your lungs, and that means you can't breathe. That's what happens. If it's water, which you would not know until it happens, and you don't know a person's signals is turned off if they're already like bedridden and things of this nature. And so that's what happens. So she, obviously, if you can't eat and all you can do, have water, but then you have secretions, and your secretions then go into your lungs. Secretions are a little harder, and so they stick, block your bronchial tubes. Do you know what happens when your bronchial tubes are blocked? You can't breathe. Just saying. And since hers is an opening, that means it can't be fixed. And you can't fix it with surgery. You can't fix it by tapping somebody on the head. It ain't going to happen. All right? She's older. Her signal's not sending any signal there to make it happen. She has a little Alzheimer's as well. All those things add up. So let's talk about, it's not Money Making Monday. It's Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Health is wealth. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you have not been down to a hospital, if you have not been down to a nursing facility, whether it's the first tier, skilled nursing facilities, the first tier, if you go do tours and then go to a skilled nursing facility, go to 2 or 3 of those, look around, see how many people are around, because you'll see 10 to 15 to 20 rooms and you'll see one nurse in the hallway. For 10 people, 15 people, I've never seen one for 10. I've never actually seen one for 15. When I walk in, they have said, oh, it's 1 in 8. Another one said, oh, it's 1 in 12. Another one said, it's 1 in 15. Guess what? All of them was 1 in 20. One nurse in a hallway, 20 rooms. That's a skilled nursing facility. They do it. This is in Nevada. Now, I don't know the nursing facilities we checked, all were saying other things, but then in reality was really 1 in 20. Do you know how long it takes you, even if you're in somebody's room checking on them for 2 minutes? That would mean 40 minutes before you get around. You're not going to be there 2 minutes. You're generally going to check on them, right? Make sure they're okay. Maybe even talk for a minute or 2 or 3. So if it's 3 minutes on average, that's an hour before you come back. If there's buzzers, things going off in the room, who's going to check? Again, if family doesn't come by, good luck. EV Place, thank you so much for being here once again and reminding me that it was Wednesday today. Check out the news. I knew he was going to say this. I knew he was going to make me do this because he knows I do this. And this is going to be very, very interesting because this is kind of crazy. This is really, really crazy. I'm going to do it. We'll get down to biz in a second. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got to move things around because I came back. I'm getting some other things done. And unfortunately, Brian P is going to be. Oh, wait, am I signed in? No, I'm not. Mercedes Benz recalls 144,000 vehicles over display issues. Who knew what could go wrong with a digital display? Oh, yeah, bouncing around, doing all kind of things. Model 3, X, and Y affected. 218,000 Tesla recalls. Thank you so much. I actually have something from before that's still up, which is funny. Potato chips recalled because of salmonella, but I don't know which ones. And of course, Harley Davidson, we talked about 90,000 motorcycles over oil ejection risk. Oh, what country do we live in? Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Brian P., we're going to get to this shortly because it's getting out here kind of crazy. I gotta reboot. Not everything, but I gotta re-log in for what I'm doing. But once again, we'll get into it. Come on, guys. Why do you have that in my way? All right, here we go. All right, Brian P., I'm praying for you and your family. Thank you very much, man. Hey, it's been a long journey. We had hope. I was hoping that over time that it would actually release. We kept her healthy as possible with hospital, with nursing skill facilities, with special diets, Kate Farm foods, because since she can't swallow, she has to have a feeding tube, which is called a peg tube. And so since she can't swallow, we pretty much had her on Kate Farms, which actually helps with mental and everything, but it still didn't trigger the opening. And so at this point, obviously, we can't keep going round and round because she does have pneumonia at this time. And the reason why is because anything that goes in her mouth. Can you believe? Think about something. Can you believe they're okay? They have to brush your teeth, do things like this, right? Okay, you can do a suction thing. You can get the stuff out. Can you believe in some packages they have something called mouth moisturizer? Which actually, even though the package says mouth moisturizer, it's not. It's lip moisturizer, and they package it as mouth moisturizer. So nurses are putting this stuff inside people's mouths. It's a gel. A person like my aunt swallows the gel. Water's not going down. This little gels, just a little, and then therefore it can get sticky. Guess where it's getting sticky at? Bronchial tubes. How long does it take? 3 to 6 months before enough of it builds up. Then it blocks, and then all of a sudden her oxygen level goes from 100, 98, 97, 92, 90. Hold up, what's happening? 89, 88, emergency. And then, of course, she's rushed to the hospital. By the way, she has pneumonia now. Not good when you're in your 80s, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So that's why it's serious. Castle Rock REO. There we go. Right on the money, man. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Go check that out. And by the way, let's talk about some other things. December 31st, 2026. You need a 775 credit score. First things first. This is the SSN Nation way. 775 credit score. You need land or business outside of the United States. If you want land outside the United States, no better deal than no credit, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. Pre-construction projects. Okay? You can do that. But you can start a business land. That's two. and you need a bank account outside the United States. That's it. Why do you need a 775 credit score? Because I predict in 3 to 4 months, I should start seeing, if maybe 5, but I should start seeing 0% interest credit cards for 36 months. They're going to need people with the better credit. And you need to take advantage of 0% for 36 months. In fact, you need to be taking care of 0% for 24 months right now. They have that in 21 months. That's what you should be dealing with right now. If you're going to be paying bills and all this, why not? Because that means you can use some other money that you normally be putting towards the principal for investments. We're trying to figure out how you can get investments. And you can also go to findhelp.org, not investment wise, but if you need some financial help and you need a lot of different things that you need help with and you live in America, shame on you if you don't go over to findhelp.org. There's nonprofit organizations that can help you out. So go over there and check it out, all right? Make sure you guys do that. Thank you. Castle Rock, another location, ladies and gentlemen, that can help you out. Again, we talked about it. EV Place, totally understand. Can't lose hope. Miracles happen. That's right. I think I've told you guys before that 3 times in my life when I was younger, the doctor stood over my mom and said, "We can't save him. His temperature has been 102, 103 for 4 or 5 days. Even if we save him, he's probably going to have mental damage." We tried everything. Now, remember, I'm only a little kid, but I can't breathe. Bronchial tubes smashed up. Pneumonia in one lung, which is what pneumonia is. COVID is when there's water in 2 lungs. Now you have problems. And temperature 102, 103. Can't break it. Asthmatic, bronchial tubes closing. Doctors are, I'm listening. I'm half awake listening. And they say, "We got to put him in ice. This is our last hope. But if we do, he might have mental damage because it's been 4 or 5 days. The temperature." She's like, "Okay, let's go." Of course, she was a God-fearing woman, putting her prayers down, dumped me in the bath. An hour later, prayers are answered. Poof. I can speak, I can talk, I can breathe, and no mental damage. Amazing. They were already writing me off 1 time, but it didn't happen once. It happened twice, 3 times. 3 times they wrote me off because of my health issues, just so you guys know. And one other thing, those health issues that I had from 0 to 17, a military doctor walked in the office. I'll never forget it. I told this story before. Friday night is usually story night. He walks in. He has my file. My file looks just like this piece of paper stack right here. He walks in. He has it just like this. And he has some syringe for my shot. And he has it. And he walks in, this old dude, and he says, "Son, I've been looking through your file." He says this weird stuff. "I've been looking through your file. Man, it looks like you've been going through it your whole life." I said, "Yeah, man." And I'm looking at him like I'm like 17, and I'm looking at him like, "Okay, get on with my shot, all right?" He's like, "But you don't need to suffer any longer. I think this is like probably the last time that I'm going to see you, but I just want to let you know you shouldn't have had to suffer all this long." All of a sudden, he put something in my arm, which I thought was my allergy shot or something. Guess what happened? Poof. Nothing. All of a sudden, I'm not allergic to anything. When I was allergic to 99.9% of everything. All of a sudden, my bronchial tubes don't close anymore. It's like I don't even have asthma anymore. All of a sudden, I'm never sick. So, that situation right there is something you can never forget. And guess what? no bronchial problems, no asthmatic situations, not going to the hospital with 102, no pneumonias, nothing for decades after that shot. You know what somebody says? People say, you know, sometimes as you get older, you can grow out of it due to puberty or something of this nature. I said, you can say that, but when this old doctor comes to me and has my files for my whole life and he's talking like, I'm going to make sure you're going to be better, like he's Frankenstein, I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't know what you want to call it, but no doctor talks like that to his patients. But this guy did, and I take heed. I can't say. And when you say miracles happen, I call it a miracle because I shouldn't even be here 3 times. And I shouldn't be, let's face it, I'm a little messed up in the mind because you have to be a little messed up in your mind when you buck the trend and you start saying, I'm going to be an entrepreneur even when I'm 12 years old. Who would do these type of things? I'm going to be an entrepreneur, hell or high water. It's hard to work for other people. I tried it several times. Okay, let's go. And exactly, EV Place, I appreciate that because that's the way I feel. You never know what's going to happen. If the body all of a sudden could wake up tomorrow, that's all it takes. But if you gave up too soon, just like when you're wealth building, when the gatekeepers are blocking you, you have to say, hold up, man. I don't want to be you ain't going to block me. I'm not going to give up. Like I always said, you go through, around, under, over, and you still don't give up. Because the gatekeepers are hot on your trails, depending on who you are. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rock and roll. Smash that like button. Tell everybody to come to the SSN Nation Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and let them know I'm coming out of retirement. Because the gatekeepers that's been doing some gatekeeping for, hundreds of, no, not hundreds, just 100 years. The gatekeepers stealing money from artists, stealing money from actors, stealing money from people that are actually doing the work, stealing money from the filmmakers. All this stuff is coming to an end on my watch. And they can't stop it. They're going to try, though. I know what their moves are. They're going to pull out their old playbook, the tried and true playbook. If they can't smear you, and that don't work because you own the situation, they'll try that. Once they can't smear you, then they're going to go the old-fashioned way. 2 different ways. We're going to try to set up something so police can get the person, or we'll just change the rules. That's the gatekeeper's way. Because after they lose, they have to figure out how they can do it. And since they are already in position to be powerful enough to be gatekeepers, that's their MO. Because they have all the wealth. They're going to sit there and waste $20 million. In today's money, they're willing to waste $80 million to make sure that they can change the laws and change the ways that business is done so that it stays ahead of the game. Notice, gerrymandering is changing the game in the middle of the game. Same situation. Scary, scary gatekeeping is a way of life. But we're not going to let them chop that tree down. We're chopping trees down. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Wealth building, stock market, it still hit all-time records, even though, did we not tell you? Where's post-retirement travel? Is he on his trip yet, Mr. Worldwide 2? Did we not say it's still going to go up? 2 weeks ago, last week, we said it's not going to change. The top 10% owns 93% of the stock market. They can buy back their own shares. It's illegal. So they can always make the price go up. They can get their buddies to buy. It's manipulation like no other. And it's designed to go up. That's what the Federal Reserve's job is. The rich guys that bailed out America, calling themselves the Federal Reserve, but they're not federal. Those guys, their function is to make sure the stock market goes up. They're doing a hell of a job. You need to be in the game. You need to get your own assets as well, because assets pay you. A home does not pay you. It costs you. Therefore, your first home should be a property that's known as commercial property. That way you have income coming in, and you have a job, and you have a house because you have income coming in from other sources that pay for where you live. That is the scenario that I want you guys to have, and that's what you should be doing. Let's get back to the first things first. We have findhelp.org. This is funny. Findhelp.org. I've been shadow banned on, this is for real, shadow banned on Instagram. That's interesting. First they shut down the live stream. Now they're doing shadow banning. That's interesting. Why them? Oh, Meta. Forgot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Here we are. Findhelp.org is in the chat room, no matter where you're watching from. Twitch, Facebook, SSN Nation Podcasts, findhelp.org while you're listening. And don't forget to hit that star button if you're on Sirius or iHeart. Don't forget to hit the heart button if you're on iHeart. Don't forget to hit the check box if you're on another podcast channel, all right? Just saying. So we're dropping the findhelp.org. What else do we need you to do? The smart credit monitoring system to make sure you can get your credit score to 775 if you don't already have it there. So therefore, let's see what we can do about that, because we have smart credit, and usually using the SSN Nation link, they have specials where sometimes it's $1 a month for 4 months, $5 a month for 3 months, something like that. They always have some sort of special. Uh-oh, can't do that. Have to just use this one. So take advantage while you can if they have a special. All right? Don't let them stop you. Get your credit up, because that, again, is money out of thin air that you deserve, just like the big boys, and they can't stop you at the moment. So make sure you get your score up high as you can so you can take advantage of what's to come later. All right? You can already take advantage of something nice, 0% for 24 months, 21 months, fine. But you want 3 years. And imagine having a 10,000, 15,000 line of credit, because that's basically what it is. If you have 0% interest for 3 years. I mean, you're still going to have a monthly payment, though, obviously. But it's based on no interest added. So you don't have any interest that goes on top of that you're paying at least 60 or 70% of what you pay monthly, because most people pay minimum. 60 to 70% is interest. So you can never pay it off doing it that way. So again, that's where you're going. All right? Just letting you guys know. That's where we go. Did I put smart credit in there? Let's go check. Yes, I did. All right? Go over there. Show some love to them. We had the lady on like almost now 2.5, 3 years ago. They do things that can help people. Their identity theft fraud for you and your family, whoever has the same address on their credit file. That's a good thing. Being able to know which particular day of the month helps you when you make your payment. Because remember, a lot of these payments is based on daily interest rate accruing. So it has that meter in there. It has a hiring index score in there. It has the FICO 8 for automobile purchases, a liability, another one. Once again, liabilities, you want something to pay for those liabilities. That's why your first move is get asset that pays you. Okay? This is the SSN Nation. This isn't some school that they're going to tell you go get a house. That's not this. Sorry. This is, you need to get wealth items that the wealthy have. Commercial property, which is apartments or commercial properties, right? FHA, what I was talking about. Get a 2-plex, 3-plex, 4-plex. That's an asset. You raise the rent $100 in each unit. that raises the value of your asset. Just saying, you can manipulate the system. And when the price goes up naturally, you charge more rent. Right now, there's a duplex. 900 and some dollars it was 10 years ago. You know how much we can charge now? $2,100. 10 years later, $2,100. This is what people are paying. Happily. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Duplex. 10 years ago, $900. Are you hearing me, ladies and gentlemen? First off, the damn thing only costs like 80 grand. So even if there was a mortgage, the mortgage at the time was, I don't really know. I think it was 200. I think it was only 200 some dollars or $300. It was something small. I can't remember what it was, but it was. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. But the thing is, $300 at $900 was $600. When things at the time only cost, a house was only 100 grand. So your payments were only $400 or $500. So the duplex, live in one side, pay for another, get a house. Now you got $1,200. Now you pay for your house. You're off to the races. See how it works, ladies and gentlemen? Just saying. So people used to say, why do you always have free time on your hands? It's because when I was 20, 21, I bought duplex. I bought property. I didn't buy a house first to live in, because if I bought a house first, that means my credit, 30% was already gone off the top. So for me to get a second property, I had to do first of all, commercial property. Now I had a problem because there's no way after I have 30% on a loan that somebody else is going to give me up to 60. So I can't buy two. So that's why I always told people, get your commercial property first when you're younger. Get your house after you have some rent money coming in. Because once you have rent money coming in from a commercial piece of property, the bank all of a sudden treats it as commercial property. Now they're looking at you like you're holding assets. And now you go, do you mind if I get that 30%? They're like, yeah, but you got this thing. Oh, hold on. I get $1,200 a month coming in from that thing. Wait a minute. You don't have that on your application. I said, I know, because I thought it was just commercial property, so I shouldn't have to add it because it says what properties I have. I look at it as commercial, not like, oh, no, Mr. Bird, no problem. Your loan with us is only like $600 a month. Are you serious right now? Now, you notice there's an educational curve. I didn't know this. Yeah. And you can use that as even collateral. Excuse me? Are you serious? Yeah. Oh, so you want that condo over there in the gated community, right? Yeah, man, I just need that little 2-bedroom that's by the river. That the river comes through not the river, but the brook comes through my backyard. And then there's a little fountain right out there. Yeah, that joint. Yeah, that's the one I want. He's like, no problem. I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me right now? I can do this. I can keep doing this. He's like, well, if you keep having more assets, you can do whatever you want. You can use them as collateral if you want to, too. Now, of course, I didn't know none of this. I didn't study. It just so happens. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it. Tamara Larry in the house. Welcome. Another investor's here to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. I was off a day when we first started, but she says her tagline is hello all. Thank you so much for being in the house. Tell the young guns out there, hopefully they're doing big things like I know they are. Hopefully they're doing well, and hopefully you've been doing well as well. All right, let's keep it moving, because we talked about a few things, but first of all, there's another little thing to this. Remember that bank account outside the United States? There's also, I haven't discussed Bankus in a few days, in a week or so, but People have the Bankers card. The Bankers card is a crypto debit card, crypto Visa debit card, crypto MasterCard debit card, and they have a metal card and a plastic card. So we need you to get, and they're outside the United States in Mexico City. You load the card up. This is the only downfall. You load the crypto up, USDT or Bitcoin or Tron, USDT, whatever. The point I'm trying to make is it's 4%. That's kind of a hefty fee. But here's the deal, because there's a referral link, uh, you know, they give people 1% for if somebody buys the card, which would be the referral link that I show here. Same thing. I mean, but 3% goes to the company because they got to make money, right? That's the only thing that's kind of out of line. But that gets you to be able to have crypto that you can use a debit card with. All right. So here, I'll show people my card. They have a metal card and they have a plastic card. The plastic card is $35, but it costs $15 for shipping. It takes 2 to 3 weeks if you're inside of America. If you're in other countries that don't have a postal system like the US, it could take 1, 2 months. All right? Just so you know. So I have the plastic one because I have no reason to have a metal one. Just to hear it go ting, ting, ting. And I like tap features. So this is what the Bankers card looks like. Okay? So you guys can see it. Plastic. It has numbers on the back. Here's the other thing about the Bankers card. They have a digital card. So whoever signs up, you also have a digital card. It's a different card number. The security feature is very, very simple. And that is the CVV code changes every 5 minutes. So, and you can block the card. That is major. Both of those are major security features I love. The other thing that I love is if another person has a Bankers card or don't have a card, but you just use the link, have Bankers app, I can send you money inside the Bankers app. So if I have 500 on my card in my account at Bankers, I can send 500 to the other person. Neither party incurs fees internally, which is the good thing. Like I said, there's only one bad thing. The other stuff is all good. Somebody overseas, if they have Bankers anywhere in the world, the money is 1 minute later or less, no matter where you are internally. And that means with or without the card, you have a digital card. That means you can only do things online. But now they're going to attach the digital card to Apple Pay, which actually isn't a bad idea versus a static card. A static card has the same numbers, the same CVV. So even I love that could flop or block. So therefore nobody can use it by, fraudulent activities. Just saying. So it's going to attach to Apple Pay, Google Pay. That's significant. So those are the things right there. And it meets the criteria that's outside the United States because they're in Mexico City. So therefore, it's not a central exchange. It's not an exchange at all. You're just sending money to the card. All right? You're not on an exchange or where you can send it back out. So whatever you send there, it stays there. You either spend it or send it to somebody else. And if you're sending money out to somebody else and you don't care about it, just remind you, you can always send some to anybody in this chat room tonight. I'm just playing. But there's the situation, all right? Got to have a little fun with this. The metal card is $85. A lot of people have it. The plastic card has the tap feature, like I mentioned. That's why I said, why am I going to pay $85 for a card? How many cards I have? I mean, I don't need a metal card. Yeah, so, but they're going to have different forms of the card now. Some of these cards you can withdraw, you can go down and buy cars. So if you're a crypto head, you can go down and buy cars. If you have the 75 grand, the 100 grand, you can swipe on the metal card like 50 grand, 75 grand. I know, it's crazy, right? And if you want to do more, you have to call the office so they can up the limit for you temporarily, just like a credit card, but it's not a credit card. So you got to have the money. It's a prepaid debit card for all intents and purposes with crypto. You can put your crypto there, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, and then use it. And you can go to the ATM machine. All right? And go to the stores. Tomorrow, they have at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when they have the live streams. You guys can go ask questions there. But please use my link in the chat room. Even if you don't sign up, please use my link, because maybe later you will. When one day the inevitable happens, when all of a sudden you find out my money's missing. Oh, and the other thing I should say, if you refer other people, you can make money. Everybody that buys the card, you get money, and then it's 3 levels deep. I forgot about that because I'm not concentrating on that. I'm concentrating on I live in a broke country. Sooner or later, they're going to take people's stuff. Bank accounts, brokerage accounts, whoever. You just never know what's going to happen. It's already happened before. 1930s. And it happens to a few thousand people every year. Just Google. You'll see. All right. So those are the first elements that we got to talk about tonight, because gatekeepers are everywhere on all facets of life. If you have a constitution and then you say, I'm not going to abide by the Constitution, the gatekeepers are the ones that's not going to abide by the Constitution. Right? So no matter what happens, you have to prepare for changes, because they are going to make sure they always stay on top. Just heard from a friend of mine today. He actually is on TikTok. He did a video on TikTok talking about health, helping people out. Once I tell you, 42 million views. You know people are monetized on TikTok. 42 million views. In fact, I don't even know what that translates to of any sort. So I'm going to put it in the machine. 42 million views on TikTok. How much can you earn from that video? I don't know. Let's go see if it's worthwhile. Okay. So, there's a range. It says $1,600 to over $40,000. They have this thing, 40 cents. That's a weird equation. Minus $1 plus per K views. How do you... Okay, so are we talking about 60 cents? I don't understand. How is that an equation? That's not an equation. What is that? Okay. 40 cents minus $1 plus per 1K views. Okay. So if I got this right, so it's 60 cents plus 40,000. Oh, that's what they meant. Plus 40,000. Oh, if this is the case, that's 42,000. And then they're going to pay $20 to $40 per million views on some instances, older creators. So anyhow, I can't tell if this is 40,000 or higher, but it looks like it's 40 grand. That's what it looks like it's saying. It's around 40 grand for 42 million views, which is crazy. Imagine if you were on your own platforms and did 40 million views and you go to the advertisers. I had 40 million views on one video. An advertiser's going to be what? Oh, okay, let's see if you duplicate it. Okay, next one had 25 million views. But guess what? TikTok did. They're not saying pay the man. They're saying, how about if I just cancel your account? Cancel. Your account is no longer on our site. That's what they did, ladies and gentlemen. They said, no, we just cancel 42 million. We don't care. We're not paying. We don't give a damn. Cut off his account. I told you guys. I told you. This is what they do. They just don't do it to like 1,000, 2,000 people at once. It's just his story to tell people because now you can't even go check it out. It's like he doesn't even exist. Which, by the way, speaking of digital, this is what's going to happen. Your bank account, if it goes digital, it could be like you never had that money. And you can only shout in the wind. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, he just told me that just happened to him sometime in the last 3-4 months. 42 million. He knew nothing about it. That's the funniest part. He was just checking up to see, let me log in, let me see what happened. So then when he realized he had 42 million, he starts checking like, money, what's up? And they said, I'm sorry, did you have an account here, sir? Because you don't have it anymore. I'm only laughing because I told you guys this happens a long time ago in my all years. Some of you are new, but that's why I'm laughing. It's not really laughing matter, but it's laughing because, again, when this happened, when there was no social media, people never believed me. And when he called me up and told me, I'm like, dude, I said, I've been telling people this for 5-6 years on social media. I said, this does not surprise me. This is what they do. Gatekeepers do these things. All right. They're like, this is how they're rich. They screw people over. So anyhow, yeah, it looks like I definitely am shadow banned on Instagram. That's funny. But we're still rolling. Everybody on the SSN Nation podcast, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And tonight's not going to be that long. I'm only on here for an hour so far. And I got some things to do. Oh, speaking of gatekeepers, I'm putting together this package. I've been giving you guys some hints. Even tonight, I'm giving you hints on what I'm doing. Because nobody can stop me. But I like to intrigue you a little bit. Have a little bit of things going. The things I'm working on. So, we got down to from 20 grand from one gatekeeper set to 12 grand for another gatekeeper set. Again, this all has to do with programming. So the 20 grand gatekeepers that gets me on to what I want to do, it's 20 grand. Then I find 12 grand. So each step of the way, these guys say magic words. Magic words to me are, you charge me 20 grand. And then when I say I want to do something that's different than what you're talking about, some adjustments, customization, all of a sudden you say, that may cost you more. I'm saying, well, then why am I giving you 20 grand? Okay, you said the wrong words. We can't do business. They say, why? I say, because you just put the trigger. This is my trigger. If anybody ever tells me after I give them money they're going to do business and produce something for me, and then they turn around to me and say, it's going to cost me more money for doing customization, then that means you obviously may not actually be the actual owner because you're going to need somebody else to do the customization. So why am I giving you money? Makes no sense to me. So I'll just look around. Okay, I found the $12,000 guy. They said, Derek, yeah, we're going to do all this for you, do this, that, and the other. Oh, good. Let's talk. So then I'm talking to them saying, this is what I want to do. They said, oh, damn, we got to do customization. I'm like, oh, you said the wrong words. That means you need somebody else to do it if you're not saying it right now. You've been in this business for 15 years, 10 years. Somebody would have said what I just said. So the fact you're saying you didn't do customization after you've been doing this for 12, I think it's 15 years, quite frankly, what is this, 20? Yeah, it's about 15 years. You've been in business for 15 years and nobody's ever asked you about this simple stuff I'm talking about right now? You should have already done this. So why are you going to charge me more money? That means you're not doing it. So you must be upselling from something else. Okay. So I still do my search and finally I find 5,000. I'm like, I'm getting closer. So I talk to the 5,000 cats. They say, okay, cool. We're going to do this. We have it our own special way. 2 different guys. One was 5, one was 5,300. And they said, yeah, we got everything, man. We can do everything you want for you. Except these 3 things right here. It's going to cost you an additional 7 grand. I said, oops. We can't do business. You just said the magic word. After I give you money, we talk. You said you can do all this other stuff for free. Like you should. But now all of a sudden you said this other stuff, though, is going to cost me an extra $6,900. Oh my, you just said the wrong thing. So then the other guy, he looks at some stuff. He says, oh yeah, man, it's going to have to be some more customization. He sends me some stuff like 4 grand, 5 grand, whatever it was. I said, oh, you said the wrong thing. That means I got to continue to look. That means I'm getting closer. So for shits and giggles, you know what I did? I said, hold up. I was just talking about AI and how powerful it is. Let me go to AI. Because you should have skills, ladies and gentlemen. Some skills, coding would help. Yeah, I told you I used to do some computer stuff. I don't really do it that much anymore because I didn't want to keep learning it because it always changes. So that's why my websites are never that good because I'm like, it's like, so now I have to actually make websites again, do stuff like that. But nonetheless, so I put in Google exactly the format and the companies that I want to emulate. And will you please give me the coding for all that customization stuff I wanted to do? All the stuff they said I need customization for? It's going to cost me more money? I put it into AI. AI goes, Mr. Bird, we got something for you. Here's the code for your project. And by the way, we have everything that goes with what you are trying to do. Here's the code. So I had to put it in and I said, hold up. You didn't copy their code, right? Because I can't use their code. And they're like, oh, no. With your customizations, we're using a different format even. We're using a different coding technique and everything. So it's your code. I said, my code, open source, not open source. It's my code. I own it. You own it. Thank you very much. AI did me a code. Exactly what I was going to pay 20 grand for, 12 grand for, 12 grand for, 5,300 for, 5 grand for. They gave me the freaking code, where to put tables, where to put the coding, where to get, to loop my system. Oh yeah, I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. Data centers are killing people because they're sucking up the water. That's where the AI data centers are. So this is a bad sign because data centers are needed for this AI. And this AI can create everything. And you who are creative, you can build wealth in this environment. Because that now that I know they can do code, you know what happened? Because you know I'm kind of a smart ass. I sent, because this customization they were going to charge me for, it's pretty sick, but they were going to charge me. I said, you know that little customization you were going to charge me? I got to send you a picture of something. I sent a picture of what AI did, configured to where this actually runs and works. I sent them a picture. I sent them a code because that code is what was gonna, they were gonna charge me extra thousands to do the same thing. It's a dashboard so people can track things. I sent them the code and I sent them the dashboard. You know what the dude responded with? Because I told him, I said, it's a funny thing. I got AI to do this. You know what he says? On cue. You know, AI, sometimes it can't do the coding right. I said, I knew you were going to say that. So, what I just sent you, that picture I sent you, is actually the code for the dashboard that you were going to charge me an extra 2,500, $3,000 for. It's free. So here's the code. You can put it in your sandbox. It works. And it cost me nothing. And the dude had no response at that point at all. He's like, went dark. I thought for sure he was going to be like, oh, yeah, come up with some other BS. But once because he knew what I was talking about, I know he tested it. And I know when it came back, he's like, oh my God, we were going to charge him like 2,500, $3,000 to do this. He did it for zero. I just told him it's wrong. I said, it ain't wrong. It ain't wrong. And so you could check it and double check it. It comes up right. And that's where the image comes from. That's the image. So it is right. It doesn't, otherwise it would be an error. It couldn't create the image. So anyhow, we're using code to create an image. It's a dashboard that keeps, like I said, it keeps track of things and it uses APIs to come in to send in information. And so it had it already built in, already headed, already goes, knows where the APIs come from in the back. It's sick. And this dude's looking like, okay. It's like, I was like, there ain't nothing else to talk about, is there? Nothing. One guy, I sent it to the other guy too. And I said the same thing. I said, hey, man, this is what it is. He says, oh, man, you misunderstand. We got to talk. I said, we ain't got to talk about nothing. And, oh, I forgot. The first guy did say, so are you going to try and code this yourself? I said, I think so. I think I don't have to pay anybody to do this. And even if I did, it ain't going to be 5Gs. It ain't going to be 7. It ain't going to be 10. It ain't going to be 20. I'll gladly pay somebody if I get stuck. But AI is giving me step-by-step instructions. I was like, is this for real right now? So even if I'm not up to coding, I know where to put everything. It tells you, put it over here, put it there, put it over here in this folder, save this folder. We're going to use this later. I mean, it's giving instructions. Even a kid could do it. I was like, thank you very much, AI. Congratulations. You guys are in trouble. Not AI, though. I wish I could do something about the data centers, but that can't. So anyhow, that's the story for the night. I normally don't give stories until Friday, which is the Financial Friday Night live stream at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on what happens with my aunt over the next 2 days. I may be late, but if I'm on time, please do come. And by the way, make sure you hit the reminders. If you come a few minutes before 6:10 p.m. East Pacific, 9:10 p.m. Eastern, make sure you hit the reminder, because sometimes I have reminders. So you tap that, so then that way you can hopefully get it. Brian P. I'm sorry. I forgot all about what I got to do here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I'm logged in. No, I'm not. So we didn't get to the nasty stuff until now. I gave a story night. This is why you have to build your own wealth with your own ownership, ladies and gentlemen. Because people can snatch things away if you don't own it. If you allow them to control it. So basically, this is all about ownership. You got to own something. This is where everything goes. Who owns all of these corporations? It's a few people. So a few people is, to me, if there's 8 billion people on the planet, and 60 billion people can, I mean, 60 million. If you have 8 billion people on the planet and 60 million of them control almost everything, that is a very small percentage. Just so you guys understand, 60 million versus 8.6 billion. First of all, it takes 1,000 $1 million duffel bags of cash to create 1 billion. So the fact that 66, less than 10% of 8 billion is 800 million. Do you understand this? 1% of 8.6 billion is 80 million. Do you hear what I'm saying? 1% of these people own majority of wealth in the world. And I'm not talking about 50% either. Majority is 51%. They own more, 60, but only own 1% of the wealth. Okay, let's put it in the machine. Let's go. Here you go. The top 1% of the wealthiest, just so I can be accurate, in the world owns what percentage of the wealth? In the world, I better put it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the number is. It is 50. Actually, here's what, oh wait, it says 43 to 50%. So they're saying it's 50%. The data comes from 2024 to 2026. Notice they put in 2 years. You want to know what the real number is? World's top 1% own more wealth than 95% of humanity. How do you like that number, ladies and gentlemen? How do you like that number? You don't like that number, do you? You thought 60% was something. How about they own 95%? But that's of humanity. There's a difference. 50% of financial assets goes to 1%. Now, do you understand the situation at hand? So when you're out here rooting for these gatekeepers to keep gatekeeping, they're not sharing the wealth. There's no such thing as trickle-down theory. You better be accumulating assets yourself. All right? So global oligarchy is here. All right? You don't like this either. 50 corporations are worth 13.3 trillion. 50 corporations own and is worth 13.3 trillion. How much do you think United States and China make in total revenues for their country, whether they steal it from Americans via taxes, or in China, whether they're just taxing whoever they want, that automatically goes into the coffers? How do you think they're making? They're not doing trillions like this. All right. So USA and China GDP last year. The big dogs. GDP of 30.77 trillion. China 19.63 trillion. Anybody want to know what United States deficit is? It's higher than 30 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. Would you not say if you had $30 million and you owed $40 million, would you say that you are wealthy, or would you say you're flat broke with an arrow going down because you're 10 million in the hole? Do you think that's sustainable? That's America, ladies and gentlemen. China, 19.63%. I don't know China's stats because I don't really care. But let's find out China's deficit. So then we'll end this. Let's see what their deficit is. Is it going to be 20 trillion or more? Uh, they're in a better position in the United States. It's 9% of their GDP. So 19% means 10, but round up to 10%. That means they make 19 trillion. They're only in deficit 1.9 trillion. Actually, it's less than that, but I'll round to 10%. 1.9, 1.8 trillion is their deficit. They are in a much better situation, and they're not broke. They're not broke. So this is a problem on a massive scale. Hold on a second. I may be wrong. I mean, they may be wrong. Fitch, this is Fitch Ratings saying this. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Why are they saying that when I see down here it says debt across public and private sectors is now 300%? Oh, China's total borrowing. So China is in a league of its own, says Fortune 5, Fortune.com. So their deficit is not. Okay, again, it says 6.5% of country's gross domestic product. That's interesting. That's interesting. Is this propaganda or not? According to this, they're supposed to be in debt 60 trillion. That would be catastrophic. There's no way they can be 60 trillion in debt with only 20 trillion of GDP. That's crazy. That would really be crazy. Okay, so our US national debt is 38.96 trillion, is roughly double China's 18.7 trillion. So China's all over the map. So I'm going to have to go with this last one because I know it's not no 3 times that. That would have been catastrophic. Okay, here's something else. Per capita gap is even wider. Each American owes $116,000. Each Chinese is $13,000. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, you can easily see there's going to be a problem here. You are passing down to your grandkids with a bullet because after we add 2 more trillion to the deficit this year, your grandkids and great grandkids are the ones that are supposed to pay this off. Good luck with that for them. The lost generation has arrived. Under 40 years old is effed up. They automatically owe 117,000 out the womb. And guess what? They can't pay it, nor is the government going to pay it. So that means it trickles down to whoever's left standing. You're doing the merry-go-round. You're going around chairs. You can't find a seat. Doo-doo-doo. Thanks for playing. You are now homeless. Thanks for playing. You don't have food on your table. Thanks for playing. You don't have a job that's a livable wage job. Thanks for playing. Have a nice life for 60, 70, 80 years if you can live that long. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Make sure you get your wealth items. The stock market is a wealth item. Commercial property is a wealth item. Even a home can be turned into one. This is true because the price could go up. But will the price go up now? Because people are starving and broke. And there's with a bullet as well. Nothing's going to change. And by the way, we just had a president that you should Google that he said due to the war, he does not care about Americans having to pay more money. I care about Iran having a nuclear weapon. Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. And this man is saying he does not care about Americans having to pay more money. And all I can say is those that voted for him, gotcha, bitch. Those of us who have been a staunch non-supporter of him, Told you so. That's who he's always been. Trust fund kid never changes. Draft dodger never changes. Rapo pedist never changes. Now, that ends the live stream. And no matter what happens out here, get your wealth, get your ownership. Stop allowing some other people to control your ownership. You got to own it outright. You control it. I know it's hard. Most people are taught to learn, study, work for someone else. Others say, I'm going to learn and learn some more. There's AI out here, free AI. Oh, by the way, here's the best part. I'm using free AI just as if I'm broke. I'm using free AI. I'm using for this project Chrome, free AI. And it makes it a little more difficult. This is true because I probably should use my Copilot because at least Copilot will drop me PDFs and DOCXs, docs, words, which in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, that would be cheating. It's not really cheating because I'm paying for Microsoft, so I get Copilot. So for me, I wanted to do it for free because that shows you, and I'm not going to do Copilot. I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to show you what I did that cost me nothing, but it takes me longer because they won't do PDF or docs or Word. So I'm going to do it. It's going to take me longer, but it's going to be enjoyable because when I show all these guys and I said, you know how much it cost me? Nothing. And I'm going to be off to the races for ownership of a lot of stuff simply by default because it's going to be in the entertainment business. I'll just tell you. So get your ownership, and ownership means you have your stocks, you have your trust. And again, irrevocable trust does help. But whatever you put in there, it stays in there. But it stays under the trust name. Just saying. Anybody can be the grantor of the trust. You probably need to be the trustee. Just saying. You can throw your assets in any trust. So it doesn't really matter. But assets in a trust means IRS, sorry. Lawsuits, sorry. Somebody making up crap so they can try to sue you, no go. Putting your stuff in danger that you worked your ass off for, trust, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not talking about the ones that people are talking about online where they go, oh, you should have a living trust. I'm like, that's still in my estate. They can pierce the veil in case somebody wants to try to do something stupid. So put in a trust. It's that simple. Don't play around out here. All right? America's going to be scratching for your money. There's going to be people scratching for it. As long as you're broke, nobody's coming to look at you. But as soon as you have money, people are looking for you. All right? Just keep that in mind. This is America. No better than a third world country. You have a bunch of people who don't have money. And we have a bunch of people with money that's willing to do anything. Insert Epstein files. A lot of rich people doing some heinous shit. So let's get real out here. And no matter what you do, I love you guys very much. See you on Friday night. Let me know if you guys saw any of the trailers. I still can't get to what I needed to get to before we depart. Hold on. Where is it? Let me see. Tesla recalls Cybertrucks over wheel detachment risk. Oh, are you kidding me? Aren't these things 120 G's or something? 140 G's or something like that? Tesla recalls because their wheels fall off. And now we got sunflower seeds are being recalled. I told you guys, when you start removing USDA inspectors, FDA inspectors, when you start removing them, you're going to have more recalls. You're going to have sick people like they're trying to eliminate people. That's why your health matters. Come back on Friday night. You have somebody with Parkinson's. You have somebody with Alzheimer's. You have somebody that they claim has dementia. They use a blanket dementia. There's several different dementias. I mean, there's things under dementia. It's not because you have dementia. They start branching it off into all kind of mental issues. Oh, it's dementia. There's a bunch of different dementias. Alzheimer's, one of them. Another one's Parkinson's. The Lewy body. Okay, all those are is under the banner of dementia, but others are more deadlier than others. So just keep that in mind. All right. So let's get down to these sunflower seeds. What the heck's going on with this? Come on. Sunflower seeds are recalled. FDA. Sunflower seeds were distributed to Ohio and 22 other states. More than 13,000 pounds of sunflower seeds have been recalled. This never stops. Why don't we get to the company name? The Joy Howe Company of Grove City, Pennsylvania, 1,619 pounds of the seed. Individuals with an allergy or severe sensitivity to tree nuts are at risk of life-threatening allergic reaction if they consume the products. That's all I have, because otherwise it's blocked. Can you believe somebody's going to actually talk about trying to make money on a recall? That's disgusting. People's lives are in danger. This is exactly what I'm talking about. People's lives are in danger, and you're worrying about, oh, we can't give you more info unless you pay us. This is silly. Kia faces lawsuit over inflated price. Forged documents. What? Since when is that a thing? All cars are overpriced and inflated. Remember when these new models come out, these new hot models, and the dealer says, oh, we're going to mark it up. Why? Why aren't you selling it for the manufacturer suggested price? Oh, it's a hot car. We can charge an extra $10,000 to $20,000, and that's what we're doing. So now they're going after Kia. I wonder what happened with Kia. Why would they go after Kia? No, it can't be. What was that car company in Georgia that they arrested their workers that were training the American workers so they can run their platform? That wasn't Kia, was it? It better not have been. Somebody I'm sure may let me know. Let's go. Kia dealership denies wrongdoing in Truth in Lending Act lawsuit. So it was a dealership. See, this is what I'm talking about in West Slip, New York. Oh man, what's happening? This window will close. What the? Why is this happening right now? I didn't even get to it. Jeez, we got the sunflower seeds though. If you guys want to check it out, oh, you got to pay. But you can just make sure, just Google sunflower seed. Cleveland.com website is saying $1 for the first 3 months. Instead of giving out recall information, be a PSA. That's insanity right now. All right. New York Kia store allegedly misled a customer into buying a used car at a grossly inflated price and packed with costly hidden charges. A lawsuit. Truth in Lending, the dealership. Okay, fine. Anybody going to jail? Kia dealership denies wrongdoing. Okay, this is getting out of hand. Getting out of hand. That's. I thought it was Kia itself, but it's the Kia dealer. So that's a little bit different story. That's an individual going rogue. Tesla, yeah, the Cybertruck again. A guy makes a kid-looking car as a truck, and kids buy it, or big kids buy it. That's crazy. Some of you may have that vehicle, but when you see it in person, the thing is pretty big. But it reminds me when I was a little kid, they used to have a little metal car that looked like this. That's what it reminds me of. And it was a garbage piece. It was not a brand. Uh-oh. Major U.S. dog food. And you know how people love their dogs, sometimes more than humans. That's not good. Not good at all. U.S. pets and pets around the world are treated sometimes a lot better. This is bad again. I'm gonna put a link in the chat rooms so you guys can get the recalls. All right. See you, Freddy Fred. Elm Dome. I'm not blocked anymore. Love it. Glad to see you guys. All right. Thank you for being in the house. Hopefully you saw the beginning, because otherwise I started going off here a little bit on this live stream. Stuff that gets you demonetized and banned. That dog food, though. Major U.S. dog food brand issues recall over epidemic. This is getting to be ridiculous. Pet owners nationwide, how come they just don't put the name of the company in first? Albright's raw pet food is recalling its chicken recipe for dogs, complete and balanced with an expiration date. Cuss card. Check the chat room. Everybody that watches this on replay, make sure you hit the first comment, swipe left, swipe right. Okay? That's what you do to move to get the live chat so you can get that link for smart credit. You can get that link for findhelp.org, even though you can just go. If you're in mental crises, mental health, you know somebody, call 211, have them call 211. Or go to 211. How simple it is. This isn't that hard. So go out there and show some love to Americans. You help people a lot. And now all of a sudden people go rogue. All right, here goes a few in the chat room. The dog food, that one's coming in. But get your wealth up. Gatekeepers are here. Popcorn recall. Jesus. Holy smokes. Are we kidding right now? Are you kidding? Even popcorn's not safe out here. Docs. This is crazy. Actually, there was a time some of the kernels and things like that can mess up your lining of your stomach. Now they say, oh, you should eat popcorn. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. This popcorn has 48 milligrams of sodium. It's popping top. Is that the old one where they put it in the pan or something and it pops? I think that was called popping top. Sour cream and onion. That's what they're talking about. JCB flavors. Once again, they don't even tell you. I just saw they had an illustration of a label and it said popping top. I think that's the one. Sour cream and onion. That's the only one they have listed. And then they go into what happens when you're pregnant and your immune system and all that if you have salmonella. That's not good for you. So let's go with the popping top, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? It looks like I'm not showing anywhere on the screen. I'm frozen. Okay, I had to come back over here because I've been moving around on the internet while I'm talking to you guys. I have other guys on the other platforms. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit that check box or the heart box. Make sure you let people know. Oh, and by the way, after all these years, we're going to be at 1,000. Only 1,000 after all these years on Instagram. How cool is that? So make sure you go over to Instagram. I finally hit 1,000 after 5-6 years. Cool. Isn't that cool? All right. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, let's see. Anybody else in the chat room have anything to say before we close this out? Brian P., thank you so much for these recalls. This is actually PSAs that we do because you guys hopefully understand you're not paying attention to your health. You need to start paying attention to it. They'll give you bad chemicals. The reason why it's by default. If, for instance, I'll just use a school. If you have students in classrooms, but you don't have enough teachers, and some teachers decide that they're not going to teach the curriculum, and there's no oversight, now all of a sudden you're going to have a few teachers do this. You'll have a few teachers not teaching students anything. A disservice to those students. This is what happens when you have a government that says, oh, we're going to deregulate. We don't need FHA We don't need USDA inspectors. We're going to reduce all that. What do you think's going to happen? You think that's good for your health? I'm going to tell you right now, it does not matter. You need to make sure where you're sourcing your ingredients from, and stop eating this prepackaged crap. Try to be like old fashioned. Fix stuff that you know is healthy for you. You can Google, all right? You can go off the reservation every now and then, but if you try to stay on that healthy roll, you got to eat some fish every once a week probably would be good. If you're not doing that, you better have some omegas in your systems. Avocados have it and things of this nature. We won't get into the health stuff, but again, this is what's happening out here. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And with all that said, be safe, because there's a lot of people out here looking for the worst for a lot of people. Okay? Congratulations on 1K on Insta. Thank you so much, man. All I do over there is I post something. Like tomorrow, I'll be posting up some motivational memes or some financial memes. Nothing crazy. That's what I usually do. And so there'll be something posted up there. And we, after so many years, finally got to 1K. It's kind of cool. So we're there. It stalled out several times, including 995, 994. In fact, I said 1K. I just know we're near 1K. I haven't checked in the last week. 809 for life. I like 809 for life. Right on. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And thank you for the congratulations. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this live stream as well. Hopefully I'll see you again, and I'll see you on Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we got more business to deal with. We got to build this wealth for you, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the trust before I end it. Irrevocable trust. Why irrevocable trust? Simply this. When you have wealth, you're on Medicare, you're on health care, you have a problem. You have to go to certain facilities, let's say. These guys start looking at your assets. And if you have some assets, depending on how much it is and how much it costs for you to be in a facility, they start looking at, maybe we should have a little bit of that, instead of passing it down to your family. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. You set yourself up. Go Google it. You have to have a 5-year run. So if you set up a trust and you have something happen to you in year 4, your trust does not count, because you need a 5-year runway. That's when it starts counting. That's why you get on it early. Just saying. Hopefully that helps you out greatly. And with all that said, just make sure you stay safe, mind your own business, because a lot of people aren't. And there's a lot of dangerous people out here that you don't know. They look normal, but they could be dangerous. So make sure you stay cool. Always treat everybody with dignity and respect. That goes a long way. And with all that said, make sure, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.